Hey everybody, this is Sue Craig, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Cleveland, Ohio. And today I have a really cute card for you. This one is called a book binding pocket card. I first saw it on Connie Stewart's blog and I really thought it was darling, so I wanted to reproduce it for a class this month. Here's the card that we're going to make. Isn't he cute? It pulls back and then there's a little note on the inside here that can pull out. Ladies in my classes this week said either this or this would make a really cute bookmark. So maybe putting Velcro behind it instead of gluing it would be fun, and then you can give it to somebody and they can use that as a bookmark. Well, that's what we're going to make today, and let me show you what we're going to use. This was the product of the month for last month, and unfortunately it is sold out. But it's a real cute set with a lot of different animals in it. So I wanted to show you what we were using, and what I did too was I made masks for all the animals so that when I was making the assortment of cards I did, I had a mask to cover the animal. And now you can see how I store them. I just put them back with the stamp they belong with and in the same package, so it's all together. What I also do is I use my Sharpie and I trace around each stamp on the thick side of the plastic so I know where the stamps go. I know what's missing. And I also take packing tape. It's clear packing tape. And I attach the front and the back so this can be folded down and I can put the stamps on, take them off, whatever I need. And now I know where my sheet is. Have you ever put it down on your desk and you can't find it? This will help you not do that. All right. The cardstock that we need, not too many pieces. For the inside piece that we'll pull out is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. For the front, the part that we're going to stamp the cutie little koala on is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. The old olive piece is 2 1/8 by 5 1/2. And my pool party cardstock, it's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And I started by scoring it at 3/4 of an inch, at 2, at 3 1/4, and at 7 1/2. And I'll show you how all that's going to work out as we go along. All right, the first thing I want to do is show you that this actually will fold this way, and this is going to be our little pocket. And so what I want to do here to make it easier to take that piece of paper in and out is I'm just going to use a hole punch. Really doesn't matter which one. This is an inch hole punch, and I'm just putting a tiny bit of the paper in there, and I'm trying to center it top and bottom. We'll see how I do. All right. And while I'm down here at this end, I'm going to take some tear and tape. Now you can use any adhesive you want and put it right here at the edge. This area is going to be used, it's going to go, what do I want to say? It's going to be open and there's going to have pressure on it from going in and out with this little piece of paper that you have. And so you can use glue, you can use something strong. I tried using just regular adhesive and it came off. You want to make sure that whatever you're using, that your piece of white paper that will be going in there is going to be able to fit in there between your glue lines. You don't want it to seal it shut so that this won't fit in there. So just make sure that is going to go in there. Okay. So it's actually going to go this way. It'll close this way and like this. So because this is a bookbinding card, we are going to put adhesive here on the first one. But how about before we do that, let's do our bone folder and do the creases and back and forth. And I like to do both ways because this is going to be like a hinge, and so I kind of want to break down the fibers in the paper to make it easy for you and for whoever else is going to be using this card. Now, this is, like I said, a bookbinding card, and so we're going to take, here's our center, here's where we're going to close it. Here is the very large, wide section. We're going to take the section that is right here by the fold. See that? And we're going to just close this on top. Okay, that way there's no mistake about what gets glued. And I'm doing that because I had somebody in class fold it differently, and they were not happy because theirs didn't look like ours. If you want to, at this point, you can also take your tape off and close your envelope. This would make a good gift card holder, or like I've used it just as a cute little card that pulls out. I know my 4-year-old granddaughter loves having little pockets that she can put things in, so this works really nicely for her too. All right, so that's good. All right, we're going to leave this like this because that is going to be stamped. We're also going to stamp on this piece. That's our inside piece, which is here. And then this is our outside piece. Okay, so I want to start with the outside piece. So I'm going to move this so you know that what we're going to be doing, but here we go. I'm going to use my Memento black ink. I know we have a hybrid ink, but for coloring with alcohol markers, I don't like how that works. So I still use Memento ink. It's all in what works best for you. So we're going to take our cutie pie here, and we're going to stamp him on the front. And we want to make sure that it's stamped a little bit above the bottom because we want to add some grass for him to sit on. Okay, and while I have this in my hand, I want to do the koala peeking out. An easy way to do this, it was very interesting. I saw some people trying to figure out how to hold the stamp to stamp it at an angle. And I told them, all you have to do is turn your paper like this. And I wasn't being a smart aleck. I was just showing them if they turn their paper this way, then they could hold their stamp the way they typically do and stamp. And he would be peeking there. And, you know, this is kinds of stuff that some people don't even think about. You know, you just think about, well, I'll move the stamp instead of move the paper. No big deal. All right. So what we have to do for this one is we're going to mask this little guy. And I'll show you how I do that. I put ink on this, and then oh, that Post-it note's not going to work. Let's get one that's a little bigger. All right. So I'm going to stamp down here. And now what I'm going to do is I will take several off. Could be 2, could be 3. I'll pull them off, and then I'll start to cut him out very close to the lines here so that I will have my mask that I can use to cover him up. And I do several at a time so that if this first one that I made doesn't work anymore, isn't sticky anymore, I have others in reserve and I don't have to waste time making another mask because I've made duplicates while I started out. All right, so we're just going to cover this little guy up. When you're stamping and you're going to mask, keep in mind that whatever you want in the front of your picture, that one is going to go first. So front first. Whatever's in the front, you're going to stamp first. So we'll cover him up. And it's not going to matter that there's no adhesive holding him down, because down here at his feet is where I want the adhesive. That's why I stamped it that way. All right. So I'm going to take Old Olive and I'm going to add some greenery behind him. And really, it doesn't matter how you do this. You can do sideways. I liked turning it around so that you had kind of like bulk grass. And I told the ladies, if when you take it off you don't really like it, like if the grass isn't high enough, then cover them up again and add a little more grass. Okay, now it looks like he's sitting in the grass. Now you want to keep this, and what I do right away is I attach it to my stamps so I don't lose it. I know exactly where it is. All right, we're done with that. So the next thing we're going to do is add the little hearts. So I'm going to move this over because we have one little heart here and we have some going down here. Now I didn't like how that turned out, so I moved the hearts, and I'll show you what I did. This is Petal Pink, and Petal Pink is an interesting color. It has a little bit of orange in it, so it's not a pink, like Pretty in Pink. So I thought it kind of looked nice with this. Okay, and so here's what I changed. I want to put the hearts on this side so they kind of stand out. Because we're sending love, so we want little hearts. You could also use this on your envelope, which would be really cute. It'd be entertaining for the letter carrier. All right, and the last bit of stamping that we're going to do is Pool Party. And it's this checkerboard shaped. And what we'll do is we'll put it on, I'm going to move this one now. We're going to put it on this side. All right. I did not put any here, but I did put it on this. With it closed like this, we're just going to do the part on the far right and the far left. Now you could, if you wanted, put designer paper here. But this is a cute stamp set that already has something that you can use like this instead of designer paper. And you know, it is nice once in a while to not have to use designer paper. All right. This little guy needs to get colored, and then I'm not going to have you sit and watch me color both of these, but let's do our sentiments on here. I forgot about that. So let's get the sentiments. We'll get our black. And I was running low on blocks because of the two-step stamping card that I did, so I ended up having to use a paper pumpkin block. And was interesting because this is a thinner block. See how thin it is compared to these? All right, and then we're going to do Sending Love. And that can be put anywhere. What I chose to do for this little guy is I chose a light pink, and just to kind of review, I have been using alcohol markers for probably 20 years, so way before Stampin' Up! Had their markers. So I've been using Copic markers. So when Stampin' Up! Came out with their blendabilities, I got some of them so that customers could see, you know, what they were like and how you use them. But I did not invest in a full set because I already had the Copic markers, and so that's what I use on here. And everybody has their own preferences. I like Copic markers because I've used them and invested in them, and I can refill them. In fact, today I had a lady that this marker wasn't working real well for her, so I could refill it right there in class. Then I used a dark gray for his nose. It does look black, but this is a dark gray. Just made it easy for coloring him. Now, I would color the same thing on this, but I'm not going to have you watch me do that. We'll just finish putting the card together here. So this, we're just going to add our adhesive to the back. In fact, let me take this out of the way. And we'll get this. One thing I also do, sometimes when I'm putting paper, when I'm lining up paper, sometimes I use this mat, not only when I'm gluing, but it will hold your paper so that it doesn't move as you're trying to put it down like this, which is really nice. And then oftentimes I will turn it over and rub it like that because I don't want to smear anything from the front. All right, for this card, what we're going to do is we are going to fold this back and fold this back. All right, now it's like this. All we're going to do is fold this back. All right, just going to fold this back, and on this piece is where our adhesive is going to go. Then we're going to take this piece and we're going to butt it up against our pocket and then set it down. And because this piece was folded, now we have that cute little fold so that it will go out. It also stands. It's very cute when it stands. And then this can go inside. And like I said, this could also be a gift card holder. So there you have it. I also have a bow to add to this. We're going to need some glue dots and that bow. Let's see here. Where is my bow? Okay. I just thought he looked cute. I had black and I had gray for bows. So ladies got to choose what they wanted. So I just put the little bow right here, and then they could trim these however they wanted to trim them. And there's your card. Just a little note. Sending love. So that's our card for today. Again, it's called a bookbinding pocket card. I hope you liked the card. I hope you give it a try. And thanks for watching.